It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. Podraza. He has to know my issue on this. Any male who is referred to is the male himself. Referred to has to fully be on my side on the complication and mess that I have been through. That's definitive. I don't know for what reason I have dealt with you. God would know. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm not slamming the door, but I am telling you otherwise. You have a beautiful life. I didn't mind sharing that. I cannot be dieting any more than that. I've done a thorough examination in my life on that situation. That is my budget. Somebody has to understand what that budget means in terms of economics. That is impossible to deal with that. There has to be some savings. Who is in here supporting me? I am supporting me with my brain. Social Security, that is Social Security right now. And it's deemed total Social Security. I know that I don't like debt in the past that hasn't been paid. I know I want to be out of the labeling that is wrong. And I want to be out of it. And it should have been handled differently. And I know it should have been. That has cost me due to those of less intelligence who just glommed on and listened to a diagnosis. And that was a major mess also. That is major in this. So if I open the door to allow, then I've done it. I am living in the present. That's the mess with the son. I love that boy. At least maybe we'll talk again. And that is my mess. And the loss of my daughter is contingent on what is in her head and was at the time of that wedding. I'm done in terms of anything, because I won't tolerate mental communication under any circumstances at all. So anything further is out loud, directly. I will answer as respectfully as I can. I will not answer anybody who's facing another direction. I'm going to assume they are talking to a color. And I am not involved with those colors. I've seen it done in Massachusetts. I know that bizarre stuff was done in... This is Pat Podraza one last time. What I do not know is I left a message, I try to give it to you subtly, regarding Stephen Kotler. It comes back unanswered. I've done all my best on that. If he involved himself with something, I can no longer, due to that movie that was horribly negative, do any more to resurrect him if he went into another persona or something due to some situation. I didn't like the whole mess that went on at that point anyway, and I literally was trying to save him if he entered anything that I've lived, because nobody should live it. This ostracization anywhere in their lives. Now, that nothing can be done about. I didn't want it dealt with. It came back, I can say that. I am no longer able to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Now I'm here in the present. Patty Fresno and her husband should be all right on this. I'm still trying to resolve what goes on with DHHS, and I deserve this apartment, and I won't listen to any other answer. Now, your services in this fashion, I'm sorry, I can give you no more money. Keep what you got for the time spent on it. That's all I got. And I have to keep it for health and supplements, remedies. I will still continue with Joe Hall if I can master that subject matter. It is always handled very well through him, and he knows his subject matter. That's the difference. He is a help to me, not that you don't or your husband doesn't. Have a beautiful life. I have to close the door. And maybe it was opened for that reason there. I don't know. But I am I'm remaining in this apartment, and I want to be here. I want to be living in the present forward. How it impacts otherwise, I do not know. I am comfortable in here. This is where I should be, want to be, and this is very good for me. How there would be a mate in the future, if I don't know I don't know how to answer that. So if I open the door in your direction, my major place of living is here. How it travels at my age forward is something I don't know. It's Podraza. You have nice speaking kind. I would never have given you the information on that first husband. However, my son did not know anything, and I'm holding this apartment accountable for my not knowing why it was being spoken to me in here in the first place, because I didn't know what was wrong in the first place. That is why I do hold them accountable for that kind of situation anyway, is what was going on in here, period. You see, I'm not used to that brutally done. I hold them accountable for that, and they were not for my benefit. Now, the situation is I need the apartment, and I want the apartment, and I'm left on the subject of my son upset, because I do have to speak to him, and I am upset due to nobody ever telling him what went on, period. He is not part of the mob or the Nazi element, and I hold this apartment accountable for no explanation as to why this was going on when I arrived anyway. And I do have a right to question Bush on this subject matter, period. I do have a right to have questioned him. Now, I don't want to say any more. My working with you puts me in Connecticut. I will not be returning there in any fashion unless I were to mate to somebody that is totally knowledgeable of this and doesn't ask me a question anyway. I cannot have naive, and I can't have anything like that. I would marry a mind here, and I don't know whether he's dead. The other thing has been told to you. I've done my best. So I have opened it up, except I would mate to somebody here. I will not marry a Nazi under any circumstance at all. And I do not believe in their philosophies. I hold them accountable in here for not shutting up in the first place and my being fed what I had to be fed. And that is where this is at. I'm totally the only one gotten rid of. Well, that's not correct behavior. I don't have a certain sexual practices. I respect intellects, and I'm not going to live those values at all. The reason I called backwards in time to individuals is to get out of what I was forced to listen to. How many times do you have to run around in circles and they say the same repetitive thing? Now, I was even kind enough whether they had brain damage from drugging, and that's all. I'm telling you, I have kindness. Now, that is all I can do. That is the only exception. The only exception there was through Lyman Brainerd's and Herbert Birkin, whom I trusted there, and at that point in time, and there were executives there. That is all I do trust. WHCT is non-existent. There were good executives in the communications industry. That was partly for me and partly probably not. That is over. I'm not going into radio at this point. That is many moons ago. That's not even right behavior. I don't want to hear any psychic at all at this point in my life. I don't want to hear it. There's a mind that I have agreed with. Don't pester me anymore, please. I didn't know there was a buttermilk matron. That's very good. How did you get involved with that? I am telling you, I have to have that stuff. And I have to work here on this because those who start ruining me or in a hospital, I don't approve of anyway. I don't believe in their allowance to do so. Now, I don't want to be angry. I don't want any more repercussions from this. I didn't agree with Dr. Casey way back. Well, if you're running your own practice, that's very good. But that is the allies in Connecticut would have been through Lyman Brainerd and those who understood him and that element then. And as far as the counseling goes, it would have been in school Stephen Gavazzi, and he went somewhere else in Ohio or something. He and I got along very well in that industry. Now, I bid you a kind farewell. I cannot work with you. I am too manipulated to go backwards in time and forced to move. That is the alignments and the memories. I remember the bank that I respected there. I respected Brandon Hickey. I respected at a point in time anybody connected with Lyman Brainerd because he was good to my mother and grandmother. Now, what made it bad is therefore there. And I'm going to tell you, nobody should have been kicked out of a Catholic church either.